Welcome to the deep dive. Really glad you're with us because this is, well, it's your custom tailored shortcut to getting deeply informed. Today, we are plunging right into the fascinating, sometimes pretty bewildering world of Elon Musk. He's obviously a huge figure in innovation, disruption, absolutely, but also constantly surrounded by controversy. And what's really interesting is how the sources we've gathered, they paint such a nuanced picture, often contradictory even.
Indeed. And I think that's the core tension we're exploring today, isn't it? This central paradox. How does someone who is, literally building rockets to go to Mars?
Right, and revolutionizing cars.
Exactly. Electric cars changing everything.
Yeah.
How does that same person engage in public behavior that seems, well, almost reckless? Behavior that would sink almost any other CEO.
Yeah.
So our mission here is really to pull out the key insights from all these sources to help you get truly well-informed about this incredibly complex individual. We want to look past just the headlines, try and understand the why behind the chaos and, paradoxically, the growth.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that because the sources really do highlight this contradiction. Starting with some, let's say, public fireworks. Remember August 7th, 2018, that infamous tweet. Am considering taking Tesla private at $420, funding secured. Just those words. And, okay, maybe a bit of a joke with the $420, but it sent Tesla's stock haywire. First up, then down. And what really jumped out from the sources was how that one tweet, that impulse, it triggered a federal investigation by the SEC.
The Securities and Exchange Commission,
Yeah.
The body that oversees the markets.
Yeah.
And he ended up paying, what was it, $20 million in fines.
20 million, and had to step down as Tesla's chairman, at least for a while.
I mean, for a sitting CEO of a major public company to face that over a tweet is just
Unheard of, pretty much unheard of.
And the thing is, it wasn't like a one-off event, was it? That's what makes it even more complex. Just a few months later, there's another tweet storm. During the Thailand cave rescue,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
a British diver, he criticized Musk's idea for that mini-sub, and Musk just fired back online, calling him pedo guy.
Which led to a defamation lawsuit.
Right. He did win the lawsuit, legally speaking.
Yeah.
But the sources suggest the damage to his public image. That definitely stuck around. It lingered.
You're right, it wasn't isolated. And our sources really dig into this pattern, what some have called his troll CEO online persona. It's this strange line he walks between, like, satire and, well, sometimes it feels like self-sabotage, frankly. Think about him openly mocking the SEC, calling them the short seller enrichment commission.
After they just fined him millions.
Exactly. Or that moment smoking weed on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Tesla investors, the market, everyone watching, it was quite something.
So if we're trying to get deeper insights here, how do the sources explain the impact of all this? Because it just flies in the face of traditional PR, doesn't it?
It really does, and that's one of the most fascinating parts. The sources indicate that, yeah, these moves absolutely add fuel to the controversy fire, no question. But paradoxically, they also seem to add millions of followers. He's arguably the first huge CEO to really fully embrace meme culture online.
Using humor, provocation.
Exactly. Using that kind of content to engage directly, grow his following, completely bypassing traditional media gatekeepers.
So is it calculated?
Well, some sources suggest it's not just random chaos. For some observers, and maybe for him, it's a kind of viral, unfiltered marketing. It builds this incredibly engaged, almost tribal following. People drawn to the big vision, not just the quarterly numbers.
Consumers and investors.
Both. So he doesn't just break the old PR rules. Some argue he's actually rewriting them.
Okay, but the criticism isn't all external, right? Looking inside Tesla,
Yep.
Our sources detail quite a few allegations about working conditions, unsafe conditions even.
Yeah, whistleblowers described really intense pressure cooker environments, crazy long hours, high injury rates being reported.
And when union organizers tried to get involved, Musk pushed back hard. He even tweeted directly about it, something like,
Why pay union dues and give up stock options for nothing?
yeah, that was it. Which is, that's classic union-busting language. Yeah.
Absolutely. Tactics employers use to discourage organizing. And coming from the CEO.
It can have a massive chilling effect. Freeze things right there.
And if you zoom out from that specific tweet, you see the bigger picture inside the company, or at least the picture painted by some sources, stories about an erratic management style, incredibly intense demands. It became part of the Tesla mythology almost.
Described sometimes as a mission-driven cult.
Or, less flatteringly, as a toxic workplace. Depends who you ask, clearly.
And this raises big questions about leadership, doesn't it? And the cost of that leadership style.
Musk himself didn't really hide from The intensity. He called production ramp-ups hell.
Right. Claimed he was sleeping on the factory floor.
Yeah, and he had that quote about leadership meaning being the last to eat and the first to bleed, making a virtue of the hardship.
So this really brings us to the absolute core question for this deep dive. Let's call it the growth paradox. Because despite all this controversy, every single headline-grabbing incident, his companies just kept climbing. Tesla became the most valuable car company on Earth.
For a time, yeah. An astonishing valuation.
SpaceX started launching astronauts for NASA, actual humans into orbit.
And Starlink began blanketing the globe with internet satellites.
He's this rare figure whose chaos seems to, accelerate the brand instead of killing it?
It seems that way sometimes. Investors might get nervous, they might flinch.
But they don't walk away, not in large numbers anyway. So what did the sources tell us about how? How does he keep investor confidence, keep the operational momentum going amidst all this turbulence? Is he just a genius playing by different rules? Or maybe a liability whose antics are tolerated because the ventures are just so ambitious?
That's the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? And the sources suggest it's not one single thing. First, there's the sheer scale and, frankly, audacity of his goals. For many investors, especially those betting long-term on transformation, that vision seems to overshadow the personal drama.
The signal versus the noise, maybe.
Perhaps. Second, that direct engagement via social media. Yes, it's controversial. But it creates constant buzz. It gives them a direct line to consumers and that loyal fan base, cutting out the media middleman, which can create a perception of authenticity, even if it's a messy authenticity.
All right, unfiltered.
And finally, you just can't ignore the results. Despite the chaos, these companies deliver incredible things. Amazing engineering feats, groundbreaking products, genuine industry disruption.
So for many, the rockets speak louder than the tweets.
Yeah, you could put it that way. The results often seem to outweigh the risks associated with his behavior, at least so far.
That's a really compelling way to look at it. It does make you wonder, though, in today's world, this hyper-connected, always-on world, has the definition of what makes an effective leader just fundamentally shifted?
It certainly forces us to ask that question. Maybe for certain kinds of visionaries, the ones aiming for truly radical change. Maybe the traditional rules of corporate behavior, of communication. Maybe they just don't apply. Or perhaps they're deliberately broken, as part of the whole strategy.
And that really brings us towards the end of this deep dive. We've journeyed through these complexities of Elon Musk, the man building rocket ships, pushing towards Mars, pioneering space travel, and at the same time, the man who trolls regulators online and makes headlines for, controversial behavior.
Yeah, stepping back, you really do have to ask, is he a kind of genius unchecked by normal constraints? Or maybe just a reflection of our current times, where that kind of raw, unfiltered persona, transparency, however messy, maybe that's actually a source of strength now.
Or maybe both.
Our sources suggest maybe both are true. And perhaps this unique, sometimes chaotic way of operating. Maybe that's just the price you pay for trying to bend the future so drastically.
So maybe the real question isn't just about what he tweets.
But what he builds next.
Controversy definitely seems to follow Elon Musk. But as we've seen, so too does progress, leaving you hopefully with a more complex, memorable understanding of this incredibly influential figure. Something to think about as you continue to explore the world around you.